Hey, this is Jody from FoodStorageMadeEasy.net, and today I am going to share an adventure with you. It is my first time pressure canning chicken, and so I thought I'd kind of show you the process along the way while I'm doing it myself. So if you've been intimidated to try canning meats, maybe this will help you not be so scared. Because if I can do it, then you should be able to do it too. So what I have to get started, I have my own 16-quart Presto pressure canner, and I borrowed a 23-quart pressure canner from my cousin because I can do 2 layers of pints in here, so it'll have 10 on the bottom and 10 on the top, and I'm going to do 7 quarts in this at the same time. I'm going to use this frozen chicken that I got on sale. It was 10 pounds for 14 bucks, so I have 20 pounds here that we're going to try to process tonight, and I've got my jars ready and my lids. And I've been following, so I'm going to use the instructions from my manual, but they only had a they didn't have instructions for raw pack, which means that you don't have to cook it first, and I actually want to process straight from frozen, so I was hoping to find raw pack instructions. So I actually looked in my Ball canning book, and they have raw pack instructions. So I'm going to kind of follow the manual and these instructions and go from there to make it work, because it seems way easier to do it from frozen. Don't have to thaw it, it's easier to cut up when it's not so raw. So I'm going to show you all the steps along the way, and hopefully it will be helpful for you. Okay, so first I'm washing out all of the jars and rings and lids. You just want them to be really clean, and then to raw pack you just want to have them be room temperature, so they don't need to be boiling or hot or anything when you do the canning, but they do need to be new lids. So that's what I'm doing here, and while I do this I'm also boiling water just in this pot to use to fill up the jars once I get the chicken in. Okay, so now I'm just getting the chicken ready. If there's any like visible fat, I just cut it off, and then I'm cutting it just in chunks of the sizes that I use, like for my own basic recipes. I use a lot of chopped, like cubed chicken in different recipes, and because it's frozen it cuts super easy and way fast. So I'm very excited about this. And then once I've cut it all up, I'm just plopping it in the jar. So I just gotta fill up one whole jar with chicken and then add the water to it. Okay, so we filled up all of our jars with chicken, and they're a little over full because once you pour the water in, they will settle down a little bit. So I'm just ladling this hot water into the jars, and it says to leave 1 inch of headspace, which tends to be like right around where the ridges start on the jar, and that's really important to follow that with pressure canning the meats because of how the canning process works, or something like that, they say. So I like to follow directions, and then you just wipe the edge off with a paper towel. Make sure you don't have any cracks or anything on there, and as that settles in, see it kind of pokes down. Put on the lid and the ring, and put it in the canner. Yay! We're almost done. So now we have all 7 jars, 7 quarts in the canner with 3 quarts of boiling water that I added in. And to place the lid on, there's a little V in the lid and a V here. They make it really easy for you. So you place those on, and then it says open and close, so you turn it the way that it says to close. So you push close, and then it's going to start heating, and steam is going to come out of this little vent, and so you're supposed to let it steam vent for 10 minutes. And then after that we put on this little cap, and that keeps the steam inside, and it'll start building pressure. So as you can see, it's just hitting 13 pounds of pressure. So this is when I start the timer for 90 minutes for the quarts. And as you can see, with an electric stove, you really kind of need to keep fiddling with your temperature gauge to make sure you stay at the right pressure. So I'm going to sit here and make sure it doesn't get too hot. I'll just keep kind of turning it down every few minutes and wait for 90 minutes. So the quart's finished, and I've moved it over to the counter,
You can see the pressure's coming down, and you are not supposed to do any kind of quick release for pressure canning. That's what my manual says. You just let it sit until the little pressure button has gone down. So now I'm waiting, and while I wait, the pints are still processing over here at 13 pressure. So after the processing time, we waited. It took about an hour to get down. This little valve pops down when it's ready. Then I just set a timer for 10 more minutes. After the 10 minutes is up, then I can take off this, and then I can open it up and look inside. And so right now the pints are just resting, and the quarts I've already taken out, and they look beautiful. Yay! And last but not least, here are the double layer of pints, all ready to be removed. So that's it. Hopefully that was helpful for you. And make sure to get more tips and even written instructions, go to our blog, foodstoragemade.easy.net.